Bitcoin is about to make a huge move and we are seeing a huge consolidation happening. This consolidation formation for Bitcoin is coming to an apex and it is most likely going to break out today. There are several interesting formations I will discuss with you for Bitcoin in this video. There's also a lot of interesting news and data coming in for the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs, and there's also a lot of news articles coming in which are very bullish for the sentiment in the market. I'm also going to have a look at the two altcoins Bittensor TAO and Ethereum, but about that later in the video. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end to don't miss any interesting information. Please slap up that like button because it will help my channel a lot. And with that being said, let's dive right into the charts. On the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is creating this huge consolidation formation and we almost reached to $100,000, but we got a little bit of a front run. Now we're seeing this consolidation happening after this beautiful run up on the daily time frame. And if we zoom in on the 4-hour time frame, we can see perfectly that this consolidation formation is getting respected. And on the top side, we can see a lot of resistance coming into the market. And on the lower side, we can see a lot of support coming into the market. So eventually, the price of Bitcoin is getting squeezed into an apex. And most likely, we will see a breakout today. And it could either be a break to the top side or a break to the downside. And of course, we all want to see that bullish scenario play out. But keep in mind that there could also be a bearish scenario playing out. And that of course will bring Bitcoin back to lower levels. And if we're going to see a break to the downside, then we have to aim for lower targets. And then the lower side of this consolidation formation is the breakdown target. And that will be around the $86,000. But of course, if we're going to see a break to the top side, which we all want, we are going to see a pump through the $100,000. Because I think if we're going to see the $100,000 getting reached, we will pump straight through it this time. Another interesting formation for Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame is this huge resistance area that was being turned into support after we broke it. And now we can see a beautiful bounce, but it looks like that Bitcoin is coming back to this level because on the top side we also see this resistance coming into play. We're also creating a lower high structure, which indicates a little bit of a trend reversal for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is going to break out, we can possibly create a new higher high, and that of course will be very bullish, and that will indicate that we will still in an uptrend. But if Bitcoin is going to see a rejection from this resistance area, we can come back to this huge support area, and from here we could either see a push to the top side, so we could see a bounce from the support level, or we could see a break to the downside, a retest of this previous support to turn it into resistance, and then we can aim for lower targets. But of course we all want to see that Bitcoin is going to break bullish in the coming hours and days, and that of course could happen today. And the Bitcoin ETFs had a very bullish day yesterday. We saw that BlackRock was almost buying for $700 million of total in Bitcoin. So this is insane, of course. And we can also see that Fidelity was buying like crazy. But we can also see that the ARK Invest Bitcoin ETF is selling. So in total, we saw a 676 million total of inflow. And we're now coming closer to a total cumulative inflow of 32 billion for the Bitcoin ETFs. So this is insane, of course, and this is all since the start of the Bitcoin ETFs in January of this year. So in 1 year, we already have 32 billion of inflows, and we still have 1 month left. So let's see what the Bitcoin ETFs can bring us in the coming weeks. And we now also can see that a new all-time high is being created for the total cumulative inflow. So this is insane, of course. And let's see what the rest of the month of December will bring us. And zooming out to the daily time frame, we can see this parabolic uptrend for Bitcoin is unfolding. We can see every time we touch this lower side support, we saw a beautiful touch. But of course, we are now seeing a little bit of a break of this parabolic uptrend. But however, after this consolidation, we could also see that we're going to see the next exponential move to the top side. And then we can just continue the parabolic uptrend to the top side. So for instance, we could also see a little bit like this, and that the Bitcoin is just coming back to this support area. And after we're breaking out of the consolidation formation, we could see that exponential move to the top side, just like I said. So Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend on the daily time frame, so I think we will just continue the bullish uptrend. But of course, if we're going to see a break of this level, we could aim for lower targets, and then we could see a little bit of a bearish momentum into the market. But with all the beautiful and bullish news coming in, I think we will just continue the uptrend because there is a lot of buying pressure coming into the market. And yesterday we had Michael Saylor saying that Microsoft could add trillions to its market cap by investing in Bitcoin. And a couple of days ago, Michael Saylor had a meeting with Microsoft, and they talked about investing in Bitcoin and how they could invest in Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor was helping them with them. So if, for instance, Microsoft will invest in Bitcoin, it is of course very bullish news because a lot of other companies will most likely follow. And we also had the news coming in that Virgin Voyages becomes the first cruise line to accept Bitcoin. So you can now pay with Bitcoin if you want to go on a cruise. So this is of course very massive for the development of the cryptocurrency sector. And also it will bring more retail to the markets. And retail will just know that you can pay with Bitcoin everywhere. So it will bring a lot of new investors to the market, which is very bullish for the crypto space overall. And if we have another look at the Bitcoin daily chart, we can see that Bitcoin is still in this uptrend with higher lows and higher highs. And we now can see that Bitcoin created this higher high that was almost around to $100,000. And we're now seeing this consolidation formation happening. So for instance, we could also see a little bit of a throwback to create a higher low play. And if Bitcoin is going to create a higher low play, we are still on an uptrend. And if we're going to see that higher low, you want to enter the market again for Bitcoin in a long, because this could be the last moment for Bitcoin that you could enter the market. And that could also be the last moment before we pump through the $100,000. So be prepared, set your limit orders around these levels. And in my video of yesterday, I revealed my price targets if Bitcoin is going to see a little bit of a correction. So you want to watch this video. So for now, if Bitcoin is going to break out of this huge consolidation formation, we will either see a break to the top side or a break to the downside. And this will indicate the next direction for Bitcoin. And if you have a look at this model, this is the Bitcoin stock to flow model, which is created by Plan B. We can see these dotted lines represent the Bitcoin halving. And every time we crossed this line and the halving was completed, we saw a huge exponential move for Bitcoin, and we are now ready to create this exponential move. So it just feels like we are at the start of this move. And every time in the cycle, we also see this red line unfolding, and this is the median price of Bitcoin. And in every all-time high of the cycle, we pushed through this red line and saw a big separation of this line. In the last cycle, it was a little bit of a similar price as the median price. So let's see if this cycle can also be a similar like last cycles, and that we're going to see a push to this level, and that will be around to $400,000. So if Bitcoin is going to create just the similar move, just like in the last cycles, we can see levels above the $400,000, and these are of course insane prices. And if we have a look at the Bitcoin monthly chart, we can see exactly how this Bitcoin stock to flow model represents it. And every time we see that the previous all-time high is getting reached, we saw a little bit of a consolidation, but then we saw the spike to the top side, just like we saw it in last cycle. So let's see if we can see another separation of this line, because in the month of November and December, we are now seeing a separation of this level. So we could see that we are at the start of this huge exponential move. And if we're going to see a similar move, just like in the last cycle, we are going to prepare ourselves for a very interesting price targets. So for instance, if we're going to see a 240% just like in last cycle, after the separation of this line, we could see levels around to $215,000. So this is also already a very insane target, of course. But of course, we all want that we're going to see a huge bump to the top side. And let me know in the comments what your price prediction is for Bitcoin in this cycle. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum. We can see that Ethereum was in this huge consolidation formation for a lot of months, and I've been talking about it on my socials. And at this huge consolidation formation, I was stacking up more ETH, and we are seeing the spike to the top side, and we're now in this very bullish uptrend. But we can also see that we are breaking above these huge resistance areas to the top side, so this is very bullish. And however, we are now seeing a little bit of a rejection coming into the market, because this level is a very strong level, as we can see in the past. We can see multiple touch points here as resistance and support. So this will be the very next make or break level for Ethereum. So if we're going to see a break to the top side, we can continue the bullish uptrend. But of course, we could also see a bit of a rejection, and that we're going to see lower levels being tested. And if you have a look at the Ethereum ETF inflows, we can see that yesterday was another very bullish day. We saw a total inflow to $132.6 million, and that is all because BlackRock and Fidelity were buying like crazy. So this is interesting to see. And now we're seeing a total cumulative inflow of $732.6 million, and we are almost coming to this $1 billion of total cumulative inflow. So let's see what the month of December will bring us, and if we're going to see more inflows for the Ethereum ETFs. And if we zoom into the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum, we can see this huge rising wedge formation is unfolding. We can see multiple touch points here on the top side as resistance, and also on the lower side we can see multiple touch points as support. And this rising wedge formation is a typical bearish bias pattern because we are seeing a grinding price to the top side, but most of the times it tends to break down to the downside. That we're going to see a retest of this previous support to turn it into resistance, and then we have to aim for lower targets. And then the lower side of this formation will be the breakdown target, and that will be around the $3,000. So this could be the bearish scenario that could play out in the coming hours and days for Ethereum. But of course, we could also see a bullish break. And if Ethereum is going to break bullish out of this rising wedge formation, then we are in for a huge treat, because if a rising wedge formation, so a typical bearish bias formation, is going to break to the top side, then we are going to see a much interesting exponential move to the top side. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Bittensor TAO. We can also see that Bittensor TAO was showing a little bit of similar price action just like Ethereum. We were in this huge consolidation formation for a lot of months, and every time we touched this huge green box of accumulation, I've been telling you on my socials that I was buying more TAO for the long term. So we are now seeing a huge exponential move to the top side. We retested previous resistance areas to test it as support, and from here we are now continuing the uptrend. So this is looking very beautiful, of course. But however, there is one big huge resistance area coming into the market, and that will be around this level. So this is the next make or break level for TAO for the coming hours and days. So if, for instance, we're going to see a break of this resistance area to the top side, we have to wait for a confirmation of the daily candle. Then we can aim for a retest of the resistance to turn it into support. From here you can enter the market in the long, and then you can aim for higher targets. But of course there's also a bearish scenario possible, that we're going to see a bit of a rejection from this level, and that we have to aim for lower targets to test this as support. So keep in mind that this is the next make or break target, and this is a huge horizontal resistance for now. So if TAO is going to break to the top side, we are definitely going to make a new all-time high, and we are going to see that 100,000 very soon after. And let me know in the comments if you hold Bittensor TAO in your portfolio, and what your thoughts about TAO in the future are. So this was it for today. Please leave a like if you think the video was useful. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.